7 days ago, we bought a NASCAR to turn into a drift car, and by the end of the episode, I guess we're going to find out if it works or not.
Okay, so we are 4 days before the Invitational and we have 3 big things to get fixed on this car, which are the brakes, the plumbing, and also the steering, which is probably going to be the biggest challenge of this whole project.
And the wheels.
I said the wheels, kid. Watching this back, I did realise I forgot to mention the wheels, so apologies to Craig for calling him a kid. So first off, we've gone with the plumbing of the brakes and the clutch, and also I think it has some sort of power steering. It has some sort of pump with oil going to it, so we've connected the power steering pump from the JZ and a reservoir, and we're going to see what happens with that. But Wayne has connected all the brakes and the clutch and everything, and behind me right now he is bleeding the whole system, so we will see in the next few minutes if these will work. If they don't work, then we've got to think of solutions, and I don't even know what the solutions will even start to be. Okay, so the brakes already had these lines, but Wayne's made up other ones to connect all the way through to the body. And it's the same on the other side. And if we go to the inside, the brake lines go through here, so he's just tapped into the cylinder. And it seems pretty simple, but I think it may just work. Oh, it's spurting there, Wayne. Okay, so these lines probably haven't seen fluid in a very long time, so there doesn't seem to be rusted up, or I don't know if lines can get blocked or anything like that, but they all seem to be good, and the brake pedal's working with the whole system so far, so far so good.
Hold on. Yeah, we pump it there again. Sit down fully. I mean, the tiniest bit of pressure at the bottom, but that's it.
So we tried bleeding the system for about 20 minutes, and whatever we did, nothing happened. We were trying the handbrake, foot brake, doing all the calipers, and we still couldn't get any pressure on the pedal.
Ooh.
Go on, open back up down again.
Almost got me.
We even tried to seal the top and blow air in, and still nothing.
It won't squirt. It's the one sucking fluid, so it won't squeeze it back out again.
So what was you saying? If it won't suck, it's
She doesn't suck, she's just going out, that's it. But she's sticking in here as well. Look, see the free play in it there. Sometimes when you press it down, it's not coming back. There's just be too much free play in it.
Oh, it's squirting.
See?
Yes. Right, okay, get the new one in there now.
Yeah.
Right, new cylinder back in, and hopefully we can find some pressure. Jeez, every reservoir bottle is a different size there now. Not pleasing on the eyes. Oh, Craig, you've been practicing.
Yeah. I was talking to Ricky on the phone, he told me how to do it.
Let it up and back down slowly. Let it up fully. What's the pedal feel like there now? Yeah, pretty good. Pump her up. Right, pump her again. Hold her on.
Have we got a pedal?
Ah, look at that, look. Look how tight the handbrake is.
So brakes, bled. Now for the clutch, and then the full system I think is complete. We've got handbrake, foot brakes, and clutch. Oh Jesus, what's cracking, Wayne?
Off.
Okay, so now moving on to the wheels. So obviously they're not the same PCD or anything bore size to a Strong. Which are the wheels that we're hoping to put on here? So the fitment is some American metric size, and the bore size is, well, about twice the size of a normal Strom wheel. So in the time frame that we had to be a little bit inventive. So we have here a spacer, which is a BMW spacer, which is pretty much the same as the PCD on here. If we're to change the stud size to a smaller stud, these should go on here, but obviously that doesn't fit over there. So we're gonna have to be a little bit inventive of how we're gonna do this. So I'm in Wayne's van, obviously, with the kid seat and the kid himself. So if you're anywhere else, you would go to a machine shop to get this done, but because we're in Ireland, there just so happens to be a lad down the road with a, is it a lathe or lathe?
Lathe.
One of those. So hopefully we get the center board out to the same size as the center board on the wheel, and everything will just go absolutely fine. There'll be no problems like the rest of this build. And just like that, there we go, lovely, fits just over that bit. All we need to do is get some studs there, and then we can fit our wheels on there. Wayne said just give it one slap of the hammer.
That's one. That's two or three Craigs.
Tell it, don't ask it.
Right, so we have one of the Strom wheels off Dave's Supra that we're temporarily using because that's the only BMW wheel that we have. So that is right, we are putting Strom wheels on a NASCAR, which is a sentence we didn't think we'd be saying this year. So we are at the moment running DS15s on the front and DS05s on the rear, but these are just temp wheels until we get the prop ones in a few days. We're not trying to make it like it has NASCAR wheels, we're just trying to have the guests follow through with the JDM theme engine with the JDM wheels. Right, so everything is plumbed up this side, throttle cable on, everything like that. And the last thing we have to put on is this hella big drive shaft that I fit.
Josh, isn't it?
Jesus, you never seen a shaft that big, have you, Wayne?
How do you know?
So we've had to get it extended a little bit. So that is the bit where it's been extended with, and we also got another bearing there, which is the same as a Winters. So I'm not actually sure if these diffs are similar to Winters diffs. I think I heard something like that, but it could be. I'll say, Wayne, put the shaft in and she's good to go.
Okay.
Rocky is very excited. That yoke's on the floor. Have you got the other yoke?
Does we call the yoke as well, I think it is. It's actually called them yokes.
Wayne calls everything a yoke.
NASCAR style.
Okay, so technically this should drive out of here. We have our own Ricky Rudd here. Right, Craig, fire it up. Step one good? What's the power steering?
I mean, it turns okay.
That's power steering.
It's not bad.
That's a lot better than it was, right? Put it in gear. That is one moving NASCAR. It's got brakes as well, the brakes work. Honestly, what? Is that 8 days?
It's not even like this.
No, sorry, this is less than a week. Then we only set off to the UK from Ireland to pick this up today, last week,
last week.
and now it's got an engine. It's fully, like, this is bar the steering. This is done.
It moves surprisingly well. I don't know.
That was a big moment. That's I think we're literally on the last hurdle now, which is the handling and moving, or the geometry of the steering, which is the next stage. But my God, what an achievement there that is to get this far, I think.
I thought we'd be much further behind, but everybody's killed it. Like, the fact that it starts, runs, brakes, drives. But what we needed was someone who didn't give a fork about anything, and we got Spoon.
Well, to build an American car, obviously
We had to import an American to come in and have a look at an American. The best thing is, though, he probably knows as much as we do about this.
I know nothing.
You know what? We got a Honda guy, a Honda and a JDM guy to come in and help us with our NASCAR. So what we wanted was more people here that hadn't a clue. Here's where we're at. And again, everyone in the comments who knows anything about NASCAR is going to tear us apart. But remember, this is like you looking at astrophysics, because we have no idea. This first book we've opened. So suspension seems to be all over the place because it's so adjustable, right? So in the front, it's like different heights. I assume for oval racing, it's got different adjustment. And then we're worried that this car is only an oval car and not a circuit car, which means that it can be leveled. But the guy that sold it to us reckons it can be leveled. And I'm going to show you. So this is where I've never seen anything like this before.
You know what this car is? It's like Spot the Difference.
So whatever these are, I mean, they're essentially like trailing arms or pan rod arms, or what would you call this?
I don't even know.
What would you even call this? I've never seen a car with this before. So we have them. They look. I mean, this is some adjustment here. This is like cavemen created FDF. This is what this looks like. So this whole rear axle is adjustable.
Wait, we can't get FDF for this?
Well, he's looking at it, but he's apparently doesn't have it on the shelf. I was very disappointed in Josiah. I thought he'd have a full FDF Mantis angle for a NASCAR, but he said not enough market. Come on, Josiah. At the moment, we can just try and square it. So I assume we use this one as a base for this one. And then we've got, if you look at the back, this massive arm here, which has adjustment usually on one side, but this one has like unlimited adjustment, like about a foot up. And then this side has a smaller one here.
Well, that's kind of like a Corolla, isn't it?
It's like a Corolla, but it's still very much not like a Corolla. But you're right, it can be adjusted to how much movement you get in the back end. Yeah, so all we want to know when we're finished is that both wheels are equidistant, which is the first thing, and that the back is square. If it's square, the back doesn't need to do anything because it's just a diff and that's all it needs to do.
This is actually something I really want to ask, because we've been seeing these all over the car and we have no idea what they are.
Do you reckon this is for some sort of tech inspection, or?
It must be, because there's about 3 or 4 up the front. They've not been painted over, but I can't figure out what they are.
Is it like a laser marker to? I'm not sure. Also, when you look at aerodynamics on this car, like all the air would just go up into this bumper and just get stuck in here. Like I just feel like, you know, you'd have a diffuser and a flat floor on a race car. This is just like, let's all the air go in here and just go nowhere and slow it down.
It's a 200 mile an hour brick.
But that's what I'm saying, go at 200 mile an hour in a car that's questionably aerodynamic. So, brave men, real men drove cars like this. So yeah, this is going to be a challenge. Wayne thinks the drift cars are a bit finicky to get right. This is going to be another if it's even in the ballpark, I think we'll be happy with this one.
Okay, so first things first, as you saw, I took this bracket off. So the idea is I'm going to replicate this bracket, put it onto the other side, because at the moment that is at the standard height, so we need to bring that further up to match the other side. Again, we're just making everything symmetrical, and we think by bringing it up, because if we don't, that arm will be too high up and it will bind on the ball joint there. That is the plan. This is very thick steel, so I think we're going to do it on the bandsaw instead of a grinder. Make a template, cut it out, and then hopefully drill it, because drilling this will be not fun when you don't have the right tools, but it is what it is, and this whole car was probably built on the wrong tool. So, plan in place, let's just do it. Right, so you obviously saw Wayne cutting out this big wedge of steel, and didn't drill out as easy as we thought it would. Yeah, there was a hell of a lot of drilling and blunting and drill bits and everything, but we are through. So he is replicating this one, which is the spacer, so we can space out the control arm more, giving us a bit more camber when we put it onto the ground. Whilst he's doing that, I am going to tackle and try to get a little more lock. So I've disconnected the tie rod down there, and it's kind of the old-fashioned way of getting more lock, which is moving the tie rod further in, therefore it will move the hub quicker and push it out more. At the start I'm just going to drill out this little shim and move it over and see where we lie there. So instead of risking breaking one of the normal ones, I've got this extra one that was off an engine mount, and I've slightly widened the hole so it should sit in there. If it does create a bit more lock, I'm going to probably weld a washer around there so it'll be seated a lot better and secure. And just realising he's put all the suspension back on. Although one thing I did remember that I love about this car, sitting pretty high. Much better. Right, let's give it some lock and see where we're hitting. Holy crap! I'm not gonna lie, that is a massive improvement. Look at that! What's that hitting on? I don't think it's hitting on anything. That's completely driftable. Okay, so just before I go tonight, I think that little knob there, I think if I grind away at that, I may just get that little bit more locked. It's not made too much of a difference, but still a little bit, and very respectable. Right, that's the night for me. I'm tired, I'm hungry, I can get some sleep. Okay, I can't believe it's actually here.
The thing that shouldn't be a thing is definitely a thing now. So we are what? 2 days before the Drift Games Invitational. We were going to test it live at the Invitational, but then we realised that there's lots of people here, they came to see the car, and if it did nothing, then we'd have no time to fix anything because we'd be too busy with the rest of the event. So we're bringing it for a quick 20-minute shakedown to make sure it does something. We don't know what that something is. We have made it kind of square, the chassis. We've done a little bit of lock on it. We've got it running. It's either going to work or it's not going to work at this stage, and if it doesn't, we've got very minimal time to make it work. So I'm a little bit nervous and a little bit excited, and I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen next, so you're along for the ride. I haven't actually got in it yet, so it's not...
I was going to say there's a knack, I'm not going to tell you the knack, but...
I feel like the knack would be feet on the seat. London.
It gets a bit tricky here now. Just drop now.
We're in.
So obviously you can see all the gauges and stuff on there, which well, they don't do anything. So the one that we needed was the temperature. That's the most important, to see if it's getting hot or not. And look at that there. So I've actually got a link can gauge in there, which is connected to the link ECU. So it's the easiest way of getting a temperature reading of the engine, which is pretty cool in a NASCAR, if you ask me. Shake and bake, Dave! Shake and bake, bro!
Drive around for a bit first. What sort of life choices have I made to be trying to test the NASCAR as a drift car? It feels like driving a bus. Steering is interesting.
This is the moment of truth. If we come away with here with a skid and a load of problems, I still count that as a success, because we have 2 days to fix them from now. So I guess let's see what happens.
We'll try to do a donut maybe. See if it'll do that first.
I think this thing could work. Wouldn't say he's got the lockies used to his normal drift car. Sounds like the power's cutting out, I think.
What's that noise? It's like it goes when you pull the handbrake. But what's that noise?
That's the fuel pump.
Huh? Fuel pump?
Yeah. The power cutting out?
It's just completely cutting out, yeah. Like the steering, the brakes, like it's all fairly questionable.
Plug into the link here and see what's going on. But we have about 12 minutes left of testing, so hopefully we can get something figured out to hopefully get you guys one little skid.
Yeah, it's fuel pressure's dropping. The ECU's hitting the GP limit for fuel pressure, so it's just safe in the engine. So we're probably going to have to redesign the fuel tank setup. Because
we never said it was ideal.
No, it was for a carburetor. It was just like chance it and see it work. It didn't work, so it's out.
Pretty much the pump is very loud, which is mean it's kind of, I don't know if it's been sucking dry or whatever. So we have another pump, so we're going to quickly put one in and see if we can get a skid, but then obviously change it, change the position of it for the Invitational, which is in a few days, where we want it to run consistently. But fingers crossed we can get this thing changed quickly.
That's your problem. So if we get a pliers and pull that out, it's probably okay.
This is the technical way of getting out. Yeah. Oh, there you go. So I think after this we'll have to open the tank and probably take out the foam maybe, but I still think there's some trapdoors in there anyway to stop the slosh. Right, new pump on. Dave?
I feel sick. Of nerves and of the wobbling around.
Yeah, it's pretty soft.
Like it wobbles a lot. It jumps on the handbrake because it's a live axle and it's very soft. And then the steering is like a truck or something. I don't know. It's like, and the brakes, I mean, you nearly need to go through the bulkhead to get them to do anything. But all in all, it did a drift. It did a donut. It didn't do a drift yet because it cut out. But
we're going to do a drift.
We're going to do a drift. Now, please turn away while I get into it.
Dave just fell into there.
Used to it.
Hold it there now.
Shall I try it again? The brakes are not really that great, the steering is not great, but I'm going to try and make it work. It's very heavy steering. Ah, it's misfiring.
Doing it again?
Bring it down, no power. Like at half revs there, it's not doing it, it's only on full throttle. Let me do a light donut at half throttle and I'd say it probably doesn't do it.
Yes, the first drift wasn't meant to be today, which is a little bit disappointing. Okay, so not the most successful first test, but we have got another slot at the end of the day, so we're going to take it back to the shed. We have a few things that we need to do to the suspension, the alignment, and the fuel. So if we hopefully get all those things sorted, we will be able to come back here and we will. I am not finishing this video until that car drifts a corner. So back to the shed to figure some stuff out. Use the mirrors.
saying.
She's full anyways.
Well, we definitely filled it anyway.
There was no slosh issues, that's ruled out that.
You know what I mean? That's all breaking up, look. Yeah, but I think we need to empty out tank.
I'll say that's about 10 years of sitting. Okay, so stuff's happening pretty fast around here, so I'm going to try and document it as it's happening because I'm not sure what's happening. First of all, we have the fuel. There's foam in the fuel tank and we need to empty that to get it out, but we know that will fix that solution. Plus we have a new fuel pump so we can change that around, and that's absolutely fine. Second of all, there was a problem with, was it Andrew, the boost solenoid, was it?
Boost solenoid wasn't working, so technically it was making no boost. You probably had 320 or 30 horsepower, so it wasn't making enough power to carry 2 ton weight. So.
And you fixed it?
Yeah, it was just literally a wire. Because of the swap, there was a wire that would have originally been going to the chassis and it wasn't connected, so we just gave it power. Now everything's fine.
So that is 2 of the solutions, and you may have seen on the footage that there was lot of body roll, and that is because, do the honours of pulling that.
Yeah, like there should be pressure on that.
Well, that should come back out.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be able to be pushed in, so it's literally, it's just an ornament now.
So that was doing nothing. That was why there was so much sway, because it was literally just on the springs. So at the front, to stiffen up the springs, as crude as this is, we're just going to put another spring in there to double the spring rate, because obviously we can't get springs made up in time. And I think we made a joke about putting BCs on here, but obviously they don't make them for NASCARs. But I think we are now going to try and put BCs on there because we don't have any shocks. So we haven't asked permission for this yet, but Adam's truck does have the rear suspension from the Lamborghini, and that has the kind of mounts that you'd have for the shock. So it's got these bits either end, which is the exact mounting point for the shock to go in. So I'm sure you can see where this is going. The guys are
yeah, but we could probably adjust up the spring a bit more.
measuring up the Lamborghini spin. The Lamborghini coilovers have gone in quite a few things now. They went in the Lamborghini, gone in the Datsun, and now they could be in a NASCAR.
Did you ring Adam off?
Nope. So we didn't actually tell Wayne he could take these off, so I think this is a case of ask for permission rather than forgiveness. And before you say we're really bad, he has actually ordered shorter shocks and springs for this. Like, we're borrowing them until he gets his new ones, essentially. Okay, so I'm going to try and explain this in a way that you guys can understand. Here we have Adam's coilover, but we only needed the top mount to connect to the other coilover.
Basically trying to make a Nissan coilover and an Audi R8 coilover basically pair together, but no, it's
fit a NASCAR essentially.
Yeah, so we're basically making Audi and Nissan save a NASCAR.
Which is, there's a lot of sensors happening in the last few weeks, which I never thought I'd say. So the only reason that we have all of this BC stuff is pretty much because we ordered lots of wrong parts in the past, and because of that we now are able to put BC coilovers on the NASCAR, which is pretty funny to say if you ask me.
First car that suits, like it's ignorance and bait and a hammer. It's just this car is made for you.
Okay, so I didn't think I'd be saying this on this video, but we do have a legit Craig.
Hurry up, Josh.
A BC equipped NASCAR made up of a R8 coilover and a Skyline coilover working in perfect harmony together. So I still think, because this thing I think needs to be as stiff as possible, so I still think we're going to leave the original spring in there to make it as hard as possible. I don't know how this is going to go. I mean, it has to be stiffer. That shock was doing literally nothing in there, so at least we have a shock, 2 springs in there. I don't know what sort of engineering is going on now. Right, test number 2 about to go down.
It can only go better than test number 1 because nothing happened. I couldn't even do it. It had about 14 horsepower. It was rolling all over the place. The handbrake and the diff felt like it was trying to kill each other, and I spun twice. So have to be optimistic because nothing will be worse than that.
Wayne, do you have the holy water? I was going to say, it needs more than holy water on this thing. Tres, numero dos. Still seems like it's breaking down.
Still breaking down. Doing the same thing again.
Is it warm or is it too warm?
It's at 87, so it should be fine.
Oh, look at this stuff.
How's it still in there?
It must be biscuit somewhere.
Lads, this is like a genuine NASCAR fuel stop here. Look at this.
The fan are ready to go. What the fuck's there?
Right, new pump on. Fingers crossed this fixes it.
Alright, so we learned not a lot. So we had the same problem on both tests, which is fuel pump related. It's not putting down power. It is in a straight line, but not when it's going sideways. And then sometimes in a straight line, it's not doing it either. So I don't know how it handles. Not great, I would say. And obviously we're going to do a whole version 2 and 3 of this car after the Drift Games Invitational, but unfortunately, I think we're going to have to try and test this at the Invitational in front of all the people in the grandstand, and I don't know if it's going to work. So if you want to know if it works before anyone else, come to the Drift Games Invitational, where a bunch of idiots have put a 1J in a NASCAR and have no idea if it'll drift. See you there.